Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu. On the program today, Moody's downgrades Nigeria's sovereign issuer rating to B2 with a stable outlook. U.S. signs $524.7 million investment compact with Côte d'Ivoire. Plus, Tullow Oil raises full-year production guidance on Ghana fields. We get started now where the sovereign rating agency Moody's has downgraded Nigeria's long-term issuer and senior unsecured debt rating to B2 from B1, and the senior unsecured MTN program rating and the provisional senior unsecured debt rating to PB2 from PB1. However, the rating outlook remains stable. The rating agency gave two key reasons for the downgrade. It says the authorities' efforts to address the key structural weakness exposed by the oil price shock by broadening the non-oil revenue base have so far proven largely unsuccessful. And as a consequence, while debt levels remain contained and notwithstanding recent cyclical improvements, the government's balance sheet remains structurally exposed to further economic or financial shocks, with interest payments very high relative to revenues and deficits elevated despite cuts in capital spending. According to the agency, the stable outlook reflects the fact that the likelihood of a shock occurring that would further impair Nigeria's economic and fiscal strength remains low, with external vulnerabilities having receded, supported by the rebound in oil production. The current account projected to remain in surplus and reserves boosted through external borrowings and increased foreign capital inflows. And to the markets now, the positive momentum recorded yesterday at the Nigerian stock market continued at intraday today. The index was up 0.15%. The market in Egypt was also trading high at 0.75%. However, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange was down 0.26%. The stock market regulator says it has started a formal investigation into trades in Oak Bay Resources and Energy Limited, a company controlled by the politically connected Gupta family, and may seek assistance from international supervisory bodies. In Kenya, that market was down 1.07% on Tuesday. And in the Middle East, the markets continued their free fall at intraday. Saudi Arabia's stock market was down 0.79% because of concerns about the economic impact of its anti-corruption purge. Shares in companies linked to people detained in the investigation slid further. In a statement late on Tuesday, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and the Saudi Central Bank sought to ease worries about the probe. They said that while individuals were being targeted and having their bank accounts frozen, national and multinational companies, including those wholly or partly owned by individuals under investigation, would not be disrupted. Dubai financial market was down 1.89%, Abu Dhabi down 1.14%, and Qatar edged down just 0.94%. And in Europe, stocks edged slightly higher in early trade as investors focused on earnings and monitored President Donald Trump's trip to Asia. There are also other corporate news. Let's bring in Daniel to tell us more. Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Chimi. Hello from a very rainy Frankfurt this afternoon.
Oh, so sorry about that. It's actually very sunny here. Anyway, for someone like you, I'm sure you are very happy that Twitter has increased users' characters to 280 against 140 previously. Now, will this move also improve its user base or even earnings? And would it impact your reportorial efficiency or even personal communication?
Well, basically, Jimmy, it's another effort, of Twitter to make their service more popular, because we know that mostly when it comes to the numbers of users, the company has been struggling quite a lot, during the last years. And they were doing some analysis. It started actually a few months ago, just giving a few people already access to those extended tweets. And this seemed to be a successful try because from today on, everybody can be tweeting those 280 letters. Some people are also criticizing this. They're saying, you know, that with this move, basically, you know, the tweets, you know, could not be, are not going to be anymore as precise as they were in the future, as they were in the past. I can tell you from my own experience, I was also always a little bit struggling with those 140 letters in the past. Always when you wanted to, I don't know, to post a link or to post a picture, pretty much you were already running out of space. So 240, I do believe that this is going to make the service more attractive. But in general, Twitter is still having this problem of really getting as big as they really want to be. I can tell you here from the German perspective, of course, you know, Twitter is being used. You know, lots of authorities, of course, also politicians are using it. But it's still way behind, you know, when you compare this, for example, with Facebook, Snapchat, or Instagram. Also, when you talk to investors, if they really think, you know, how much sense it makes to invest, you know, in shares of Twitter and also Snapchat, they are always telling me that this is always kind of a risky business to do because it's just very unpredictable, you know, how, you know, the usage of those two companies is going to change in the future. So, yeah, I don't really think it's going to change that much how I'm using Twitter. I have tried a couple of times already using Twitter, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not really my platform to be on.
Well, we all use Twitter, but for me, it's better to keep it short and simple. That's all. Well, let's look at this economic report on Germany put together by some top economists dubbed the wise men. What's it all about?
Yeah, every year those five wise men, all very intelligent people, most of them professors at universities, they are coming together. They are presenting this report to Chancellor Angela Merkel. That was taking place this morning at 11 a.m. at the Chancellor's office in Berlin. And they're actually coming out with good numbers already for the rest of the year. They are predicting a growth of 2% higher than was predicted in spring. And also for the next year, 2018, they are also coming with very strong numbers, stating that the economy most likely is to grow at a level of 2%, and also that was not predicted as much. They are saying, because we're seeing this kind of boost of the economy taking place right now here in Germany, that Germany needs to be careful, that there is not going to be a sort of overheating going to take place. Let me also tell you that at the moment, you know, you probably remember that in September we had elections here in Germany. We still don't have this new government because Angela Merkel did not gain enough votes to govern by herself, so she has to form a coalition. Right now she's talking to two other political parties here in Germany, the Greens and also the Liberals. Those are very difficult coalition talks. And it's a lot about money, what they're talking about, because those five wise men have been saying that Germany has enough money at the moment to do bigger investments. Angela Merkel already stated today that she thinks that a mix of reforms and new investments is a very good idea. Tomorrow, and that's going to be a very interesting date, it's going to tell us in which direction all of this is going to go, because the German government tomorrow is going to receive their annual tax report. They will learn from this report how much money they can expect now from 2017 from companies and also from individuals, how much taxes they will you know, receive from them. So this is going to give a good indication how big those investments new possible government here in Germany can do next year.
Well, I guess we'll have to talk about that tax report tomorrow. Just a quick one before I let you go. Let's look at the automobile. Are the top car makers, BMW, Daimler, and Volkswagen, back in top discussion and trading action as the industry braces for tougher CO2 emission rules?
Yeah, this is a report that most likely car makers are not really going to like. The European Commission, as you mentioned, they want to reduce the car-generated European carbon dioxide emission by 30% until 2030. And if this is not going to be reached, car makers might even have to pay penalties. So, you know, now we have again this discussion that cars should be more green, that there should be more battery cars on the German roads. And this is, you know, something that Germany, but also Europe has been struggling. E-mobility is still here a topic very difficult to discuss. When you talk, for example, about Germany, about the infrastructure of e-mobility, that's what many customers call the biggest problem. Just for example, in Berlin, our capital, when you go in Berlin around with your e-mobility car, you need to have up to 5 different contracts to go from charging station to charging station in order to charge your car. Of course, this is something that is not really making you know, e-mobility cars very attractive to customers. Also, when you talk about the price, an e-Golf, for example, by Volkswagen is still about at least 20% more expensive than a regular Volkswagen Golf. So it's really also the homework now of car makers, on the one hand, to have a better network of charging stations, but also to make those cars, you know, from the price more attractive. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting, you know, what this is going to mean. Also, already yesterday, we saw, you know, what this can mean for a company, BMW, when they released their quarterly numbers yesterday. And they reported that their sales numbers were actually dropping because they were doing very big investments regarding to e-mobility. Because of that, their profit was down, the share price was down. Let me talk you a little bit through the share prices of those car makers today here at the trading floor. We do see an impact. Volkswagen share price has been down, Daimler's share price as well, but it's not, you know, like a massive landslide or something like that that we have seen, for example, during the Dieselgate scandal. So investors are taking this news of this emission reduction still, you know, kind of with a calm mood.
Right, thank you very much, Daniel. I have to let you go this time. Let's keep a tab on that tax report coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Enjoy the rest of the day.